friends, it's Kaylin here at Full Purpose and Heart coming at you today with another back to homeschool video. I'm really excited. I love homeschool life. I love coming back to homeschool and all the planning and organization that happens to make it a successful school year. And as the big saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I am a true believer that that is the way it is when it comes to homeschool. You can't just jump in with a couple of books and be like, well, we're just gonna start. For me, at least, I need to have quite a bit more of a plan. So today's video, I want to show you how I plan our school day. This is a little different from how I planned our homeschool year, which is a previous video that I have up. So make sure you check that out because it is important that you understand how my school year is planned before you understand how my school day is planned. There's a lot of planning that happens before we actually get into the homeschool day. So today is good morning. We've just woken up. How are you going to go about your homeschool day? So if you're interested in getting a little bit of information or some ideas about that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so again, welcome to my channel. I should have said that before, but if you are new to my channel and you have not been or met me before, my name is Kaylin. I am a homeschool mama. I have two school-aged kids now. One is a second grader and the other is in junior kindergarten. So today I want to share with you how I organized both of those kiddos so we could have one cohesive school day. Right now, my school day is planned to go from about 9 in the morning and then we finish off at about 1 o'clock, depending on kind of how many crafts I want to do that day. So I'm going to share with you how I do that and kind of the flow of our day. If you find some value in this video, I hope that you do, then you can give me a little thumbs up in the box down below so that I know the information that I'm giving is valuable, because that really is one of my goals here on my channel, is to share valuable information for you guys, my subscribers, okay? So getting started. My school day starts at 8:55 in the morning. Why is that such a weird hour? Because I'll tell you, because previously in previous years, I had a small preschool. The neighborhood kids would come to my home and we did preschool. And I opened my door at 8:55 for a 9 o'clock preschool day. So my kids are kind of in the habit of being ready for school at 8:55, and we just would read stories between 8:55 and 9:10. And I always told my preschool students, when the big hand is on the 2, then we're gonna clean up our books. And that gave me 15 minutes. Usually without fail, my preschool students showed up at 8:55. Even though the school day started at 9, they came at 8:55. So it was really pretty frequent that we had a 15-minute reading hour or reading moment. And I really wanted to kind of implement that, carry that over into our new dynamic, our new school day. Now that we don't have preschool students with us and it is just my kids, I still wanted to have that easy, slow start to our school day where we just read stories. So we put out a bunch of library books. Let's see. Oh, this box right here, this little pink box you can kind of see behind me, stores all of our library books. And I have a job of the day. You'll be able to see all of these little things that I have in my classroom in my homeschool room tour. So my room is a little bit different than it's been in previous years. I'll make sure and talk about it in that video, okay? But anyway, so up here I have our jobs, and whoever's job it is to be the books, then they'll set all of the books out on the floor and we will all read, myself included. I really want to demonstrate reading to my students or to my kids, silent sustained reading as we called it in public school, and just have the ability where my kids can be in the books. My second grader is a really good reader, so he can actually read the stories. My kindergartner or my junior kindergartner just likes to look at books. And my little toddler also kind of begins to understand the flow of our family, and that reading books is a fun activity to do, okay? So that's what we do for 15 minutes. Now, before I get ahead of myself, let me show you. This is my daily schedule, and I actually print this out and I put it on my whiteboard for the first couple of weeks of school until we all really get the flow of things. I did this when I was in public school too. As a public school teacher, I just kind of time blocked everything out. And if you've never heard of time blocking before, get on YouTube or Google time blocking. It's a time management skill that a lot of business professionals use, a lot of mamas use. It's very translatable to all areas of life, and so we do it in our homeschool. So here's my time blocking that I kind of do, and this is what I'm going to explain to you, okay? So I actually put it on my board. It's mostly for me, but my second grader can read, and so he likes to kind of know what's coming up and how long we need to spend on stuff. And it also helps me kind of think, if we're spending more time than I have allotted on any given subject, then I need to reevaluate and either A, make a larger time block, or B, just kind of shuffle my students along and then get back to it at another time. Because nobody wants to be doing their math assignment for an hour. I mean, I don't want to do math for an hour, and I certainly don't expect my son to be doing his math assignment for an hour. So if it's taking him that long, then depending on what his attention span has been, I'll kind of help him through the problems. We may skip some certain sections, that sort of thing, because no one needs to be spending that much time on their lesson. Okay, I feel like I've digressed. I apologize for that tangent. So let's get on with the story. 9. We start at 8:55. So at 9:10, then we clean up the books, and that's when we're going to start our circle time. During circle time, we're going to do our calendar. I have it up here. The days of the week and the weather. That's mostly for my junior kindergartner and my toddler. And no, my toddler is not in school, but he is kind of following along with us. And my junior kindergartner, who will be turning 4 in the fall, is very advanced for her age because she always kind of sat alongside us for the last 2 years of preschool. So I'm planning to do the same for my third child, who will be 2 here in the coming months, okay? All right, so we do this. We do these, the days of the week, we do the weather, we have a scripture that we recite, and then we do this board over here. Again, check my room tour video and you'll get a better idea of what's on these boards. But this board over here that you can see in the background, this is just our recitation board, and we recite different things or talk about different things. So, for example, let me back up. There are 6 subjects on here, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 subjects on there. And on each of those subject boards, I kind of have posted learning objectives that we're covering in a given time frame. Sometimes it might take us a month to do that learning objective. Sometimes it might be just for the week. I usually try not to change it every day because nobody's got time for that. So at least a week, and more than that if it's like a character trait or something like that, okay? So then we will discuss or recite those things together. I do have a helper of the day. They'll have a little stick that they can hold and they will point. So for math, we do skip counting practice, or maybe we'll do a couple of word problems together. For English, right now we're talking about sentences, verbs, and nouns. So we just talk about them, give examples, recite the definition of each of those. So that sort of thing. We're doing the continents for social studies here in a week, so I have those up. So anyway, you kind of get the idea. Those are the things that we do. Oh, and we also do an alphabet chart. That's on this wall over here that you can't see. So we'll say our alphabet, and then we also have some digraphs and blends and that sort of thing that we recite together. So that's our circle time, and that takes about 15 minutes. If I'm kind of going over the 15 minutes, then we'll skip parts of it or we'll wrap it up, just because I just don't think that we need to be spending an exuberant amount of time on those subjects, okay? Now, after that, now it's going to be about 9:30. From 9:30 until 10 o'clock, I'm going to have my lesson time. If it's a history day, we'll have a history lesson. If it's a science day, then I'll have a science lesson. I've got my kids close to me. They are, already attentive, so we just move right into one of those group lesson days. Sometimes I'll gear the lesson more to my junior kindergartner, and sometimes I'll gear the lesson more towards my second grader. So it just kind of depends on the day and the lesson, but I do try to have moments of each lesson that is geared toward that particular child. If we have an activity or a craft that goes along with the lesson, maybe it's a science experiment, or maybe we're creating some kind of lap book or project or whatever it is for history, then we will do that during those 30 minutes. I try to keep the lesson time short, the activity time a little bit longer. If we finish early, we move on to the next activity. If it goes long, then sometimes I kind of bump the day a little bit, or I'll just kind of wrap it up as we come across that 10 o'clock hour. At 10 o'clock, then we start our writing time. One of our students' jobs is the table, and so whoever job it is that day, they will go to this little caddy right here, holds all of our loose school books, so it's going to be the kids' writing folders. My second grader does his writing, and then my junior kindergartner does her ABC interactive notebook. I have another video on that if you would like to look and see what the interactive notebook is. Or if you're curious about my son's writing curriculum, then you may want to go over and see any of the curriculum for that matter, our second grade curriculum choices, okay? I'm trying to not explain too much so that this video is not terribly long, but sometimes I can get chatty. Okay, I apologize for that tangent. All right, so where are we at? Then we sit at the table here. I have tables in my classroom. Everybody gets their own seat and their own pencil box, and they do their writing for 15 minutes. Again, if it goes more than 15 minutes, then I kind of just wrap it up. My second grader can stop at any time. My junior kindergartner, because it's an interactive notebook, I do need her to complete the page so we don't have a partially cut piece of paper just like hanging out. So if it kind of is running short on time, then I'll help her kind of cut it and get it glued in her book so we can move on from that, okay? That's 15 minutes and now it's 10:15. I have my kids take a brain break at 10:15. This is usually like recess, you know, in public school, it's called recess. In my classroom, we call it a brain break, and they can just get away from the table and we can get a snack if we feel hungry, or we go downstairs. If it's nice outside, I'll let the kids ride their bikes. We'll kind of run around. And that's usually 15 to 20 minutes of just free time. And I don't regulate it at all. It's just, you know, you guys go about your day, and it's a good refresher for me as mom. I can get some water or maybe catch up on some emails or something like that if I want to. Any text messages that have come in during that time, then I can respond to those, because I don't do anything when it's school time. I don't look at my phone or my email or anything like that. So as a little side note. All right. When our brain break is over, now it's about 10:30, we separate, and my son does his second grade English and I do English work with my preschooler. So my son's second grade work is on the computer, so I will set him up and get him pushing play, and then I'll come over to another side of our classroom with my junior kindergartner and we will work on reading, pre-reading skills and alphabet sounds and all that stuff, the curriculum that I have for her. Now, this is not work text pages, so if you're watching my curriculum choices for my junior kindergartner, it's not that. This is mostly just you know, manipulatives that I'm doing, little games that we're doing, reading stories together, just to get her comfortable with her alphabet and get her started reading, because as the months go on, she will become a little more prepared for some kindergarten level material. So that's what we're working towards, so that hopefully in January, I can kind of gauge her understanding levels and see if we're ready to move into some kindergarten stuff. So we do that. We also do math during that time. It's about 30 minutes that it takes my second grader to do his curriculum on the computer. So I've got about 30 minutes with my younger one, and we just kind of work together. In the meantime, my toddler is mostly in the way. I'll just throw that in there for those of you that have younger students that you're trying to work with. He's on my lap, he's on the floor, he's getting into the markers. I mean, he's everywhere. It's not a picture perfect moment, but you work with it. I try to sit him down and give him something like magnets. He likes to play with those in the moment. Anyway, but you do have to kind of, sometimes I'll prepare a little, you know, some colors. Like he likes to put those colored counting bears into their right cups. So anyway, he's mostly just in the way though, so don't think that it's a perfect mix. Anyway, moving on with the day, at about 11 o'clock, my second grader will finish up his work, and then we're gonna move to the table and do binder work together. Now, our binder work is going to be the rest of our subjects that we can do independently and yet together, because we're all at the table. So this includes math, spelling, the Bible page that my son has, and I guess that's it. Oh, if there's any like geography or science pages that they're doing, but geography especially. The science pages we do during our lesson time. But anyway, there's just about 3 subjects that they're going to be doing in that notebook. So I give them time to do that. And that usually I give them 45 minutes. Sometimes it takes a little more. Sometimes it takes a little less, depending on how difficult the math problems are. My junior kindergartner, she has her work pages from the curriculum I've picked for her. That's when she does those pages. And then I also usually have an additional printout that I make where she can cut and paste and color some kind of learning book or game or whatever it is that we're doing for that day, okay? So that's the bulk of our lesson material. It's about 11:45 at that time if I'm timing it right. Yes, okay, so 11:45 is when we're gonna clean off the table, and from now until lunchtime, we're going to have read alouds and a small activity with the read alouds. So on my board up here in this black box, which you can't really see, I have the read aloud book that we're reading right now, and as a part of my full school year, I've picked out all of the reading material that we're gonna be reading over the course of the school year. And I'll talk about that in another video in case you're curious of how I pick my reading and what to pick. So anyway, that's another topic, but we're gonna read together as a class, and then I also have a little activity, kind of like if you were in like a book club with a bunch of little kids, you know, you read a story and then you do a little something. It might be reading comprehension, it might be like compare and contrast the characters, it might be a craft. So Pinterest is really great for that. I just plug in the book that we're reading, and then a bunch of stuff usually comes up, and we go from there. So thank you to all of you who put out creative material on Pinterest, because it helps a homeschool mama so much who's never taught English before, for sure. So we have our read aloud, and then we wrap up our school day. We will have lunch, and on occasion after lunch, I will have some kind of craft that we get to do that's geared a little bit more toward my junior kindergartner age range, just because she is young, and preschool is really fun when you get to do those fun crafts that are, you know, seasonally based or have to do with a topic or a theme or whatever it is. And my second grader really loves to do them too, and I really love to do them. So I put the baby down for a nap, and we'll kind of craft at the table, and I'm going to share what we did for our first week, which was an all about me unit, and I'll share all the crafts and the books and the fun things that we did for that unit, because it really turned out cute and it was super fun. So to share some ideas of what we did, then I'll record a little video for you so you can see those kind of fun activities that we did, or maybe I'll just throw them into our homeschool life video series that I do for this upcoming school year. Anyway, so that's the end of our school day. Our school day goes again from about 9 o'clock, and then if we do a craft, we'll be doing it until, you know, 1 or 1:30, kind of depending on when we start after lunch. But that's really just kind of fun playtime more than it is like school time. And then our day is over for the rest of our day. So hopefully that this little explanation has given you some kind of understanding. I'll show my little like this up here so you can pause the video if you want to get an idea of what it is that I do. There you go. So you can, you know, take a screenshot or pause it, and then you can get an idea of what my school day looks like, and then hopefully you can modify it and fit in what you want to for your kiddo's school day. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. Again, if you found some value, give me a thumbs up so that I know that I'm providing content that's helpful for you, and we will catch you in another video. Bye, guys.